Welcome to another episode of US Law Live, the official US Law podcast. I am Pam Holford from Carr Allison down in Dothan, Alabama. Feels bad to even say the word Alabama right now. Thanks for bringing that up. Mike Judy, my esteemed co-host, who's here with me from Kansas City. Hey, Mike.
Hello, Pam, and I'm sorry that I brought up Alabama's loss to Indiana right before we got started. I know that puts you in a bad mood.
It does put me in a bad mood. You know who else likes to put me in a bad mood by saying things about Alabama football is my partner here, Tom Oliver from the Birmingham office. Hi, Tom.
War Eagle, Pam.
Ugh. Y'all, it's all the time. I get emails that say awesome with an AU instead of AWE. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to start after, being here with the two of you, so, figuring out when to use y'all and all y'all. Start working on my, southern dialect.
Well, Mike, maybe the Chiefs are working on that since they're off for the rest of the season, since we're
Oh,
talking about football teams not doing well.
I mean, it has been a nightmare around here. I mean, everybody in Kansas City, you have the 10% of fans who are like I am, which is, you enjoy the run that you had, you have some optimism for the future, and then the other 90% are Andy Reid needs to go. We need to burn this team down. What are we doing? We're terrible. We're awful. We're never going to win again. And it's just, let's calm down. Let's calm down about that.
Those would be Alabama fans. They say the same thing.
I was about to say it sounds a little bit about like my fan base.
Did you both have a
Um,
good holiday?
Dead.
Yeah, it was lovely. I actually got to have Tom down here in Dothan over the holidays. We had a little Carr Allison Dothan dinner party for Christmas at my house, and Tom happened to be in town for some depositions, and he came on over.
I was
Did Pam behave herself, Tom?
She did. She's quite the hostess of the mostest party.
Well, thank
Uh,
you very much.
how many
For
Christmas
those,
trees did you count in the house?
how many what?
I asked Tom, I said, Tom, did you go around counting her Christmas trees to figure out how many she had in the house?
I did not. She kept us, kind of in one room or two rooms. So we did make it very far from the bar and the food.
I didn't
That's a
even
good party.
snooping, Mike.
What
For
do you have
those of
now?
you
Yeah.
who don't know Tom Oliver, he is the president of Carr Allison and one of the founding members of Carr Allison and is based in our Birmingham, Alabama office where I used to be. Tom, can you tell us a little bit about what your practice is up there?
Sure. Mostly in the transportation sector, buses, trucks. If it's got wheels on it, we do it. I have a little side practice of some professional liability work, so kind of a nice combo there to handle different stuff. I think I've appeared in every county in Alabama, so we've got the state covered over a 30 plus year practicing and even practiced in a few adjoining states. So it's been quite the fun career.
Yeah, did you start your career? And I should know this, but I don't. But did you start your career founding Carr Allison, one of the founding members, or did you do something before that?
Our group of founders, Mike was at another firm and we split off from them. So I practiced 8 years at another litigation firm here in Birmingham and then had just made partner and decided to go with Charles Carr and a couple of other guys and start our own firm. To which my wife looked at me and goes, "You just made partner in a law firm. Isn't that like a really good thing? You're going to start over." So we had a kind of awkward moment at the house, but that little decision has played very well for us.
Yeah,
Tom,
yeah.
tell Mike the name of the bar y'all were when you decided to go out on your own and leave your current firm.
So we were in a downtown firm, but we met out in the suburbs, closer to our house to kind of get away, obviously, to have that covert discussion. And just so happened we picked a bar called In Cahoots.
Isn't that great? That's one
So
of my
Carr,
favorite
Carr
parts of the
Allison
Yeah,
story.
started a bar called In Cahoots.
yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
On top of being one of the founding members of the firm, Tom, you've been there since the beginning of US Law, right?
That's right. My partner Charlie Carr, who had the great idea to start Carr Allison, also had another great idea. And that was 97. And then 3 years later, I guess he was bored, decided he would start US Law. So we had been in a competing organization beforehand, and he missed that. Once we started our firm, we didn't have that connection anymore. So he got together with 4 or 5 other firms around the country, lawyers he knew, and they started up US Law in 2001. So it's been quite a ride there as well. Now, much bigger group, covers the entire country and has, associations in Europe and Asia and South America. So it's really been phenomenal to watch that organization grow as our firm has grown.
And what was that, both whether it's the firm or US Law, what was that like watching it and being involved from, both your firm and US Law starting as, kind of a grassroots, collective of individuals to, again, both the firm and US Law growing into, the institutions that they are today?
Mike, and it's funny, as you know, and probably would expect, very similar. You had a group of lawyers that were starting this law firm, so we were hungry. We wanted to make it very successful and worked really hard to build it and bring in other good lawyers and ultimately develop good clients that came along with us and others that joined us later on. And then you really have the same thing happening in US Law. You had a core group that was totally committed to making US Law a successful legal network rivaling any other out there, and worked really hard in the early years to bring in top quality firms, to bring in top quality clients. So the process was, looking back on it, very identical as you think about it, because your goals are kind of the same. You want a law firm to be successful and have great clients, and you want a network to, have great law firms and have great clients. So really, they tracked each other pretty well. We were very busy in those early days, Mike. You were an early participant in U.S. Law because you being in house back in the day, so you saw it grow over time.
Yeah, yeah, it has been interesting, watching it kind of from both sides, being in the organization, both as a lawyer and on the client side. And there's a lot of really good organizations out there, but I think what sets U.S. Law apart from my standpoint of seeing both sides is number one, the relationships. I've never been in an organization, again, both as a member and when I was in house, that, people really wanted to get to know who you were, what made you tick, what your, likes were. And it wasn't a, what business do you have? How can I help you? That sort of deal. It was, let's build a relationship first. And then if the business side of it follows, so be it. If it doesn't, well, I still have a friend and somebody that I can, pick up the phone and call if I need it. So, yeah, U.S. Law is second to none, and it's a lot from what folks like you at Carr Allison have done. Of it's not just building the relationships with the clients, but those that are there with you, and then those who are kind of rising through the ranks, the next generation of making sure that they're protecting and also developing what you guys started. So it's just been a great organization.
Well, you're right. I mean, I think Charles and the founders had the right ideas of, it's about relationships first. It's not about you being the greatest lawyer or they having the greatest amount of business to give. That will all come if it needs to come. And that has proven true to this day. I tell people all the time, some of my best friends in the country are the U.S. law friends that I've developed over 25, now almost 30 years. So the friendships, you put the nail on the head. It's all about relationships and the friendships you develop. And whether you ever do business together or not, it's awesome to have that base of friendship and trust that you have right out from the beginning.
I'd love to say that Mike and I have that type of friendship, but really he has a type of friendship with Allison, and he likes to tell me that quite a bit, that I'm, second tier, but that's okay.
It's not second tier. It's 1A and 1B, Pam.
Okay, so am I 1A?
1B, but that's okay.
Who's counting
I
among friends, right?
right, right. Well, I
Tom,
guess too. Go ahead, Pam.
is there a moment over US law's past 25 years that you think of that really stands out as sort of, goal achieved, mission accomplished? Man, this is awesome.
I wouldn't say there was ever one moment because just like a lot of successful things, you like building blocks, you're stacking one on top of another on top of another. When you filled out the entire United States, which was right before I became chair, 2015, that was a, critical milestone for us. We really wanted to be truly a national network. And that got us there. And then we've instituted all kinds of great programs. One that was started was called Law Mobile, where our lawyers actually go out and visit with clients. So Roger Yaffe, the executive director and CEO of US Law, would not want me to be on this podcast without mentioning that.
Tom, you were chair when of
In
US law?
2015 and 16, so around 10 years ago, if you can believe that.
How did how was that progression? I know you were in the transportation leadership at some point, and is that what kind of led you naturally into that role?
Yeah, I think you'll see inside of U.S. law, as you guys know, that it progresses throughout. You develop your participation. You show that you have leadership abilities by volunteering and stepping up and doing things in the different practice groups. You're right. I was chair of the transportation practice group. I was chair of the professional liability practice group. Was fortunate enough to be added to the board many years ago, and then got into the leadership off the board into the officers and progressed up to vice chair and then ultimately to chair. So definitely a progression all the way around. I think US law's got it right where you kind of prove that you're a leader and you're willing to step up and help out and usually rewarded for those efforts.
Yeah, and the one thing I've been impressed with too from the organization is that, the folks that rise up the ranks and eventually become chair and folks like yourself, it's been now 10 years ago, like you said, and it's not, well, I put in my time and I had the chairship and well, now I'm done. You've been real active and you're still reaching out and you're presenting, you're speaking, you're going to, still a bunch of different events and forums and exchanges, and you're still involved, which again, I think is a testament to the relationships you built and just how important the organization is.
And I think that's right, Mike. I think, law firms, again, kind of making the segue are very similar. Now ascended to president at this firm, but I'll be here for several years afterwards, making sure, who's behind me is supported. Between me and Pam, it's been a great relationship. We work together on cases. I've mentored her some. She's mentored me some too, probably. But
Mostly about
watch it.
how to use technology and things like that.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. But it's been fun to watch her. She's ascended now. She's done the right things in our firm and in U.S. law, where she's stepped up, taken leadership roles, and been very active in different groups inside of U.S. law and inside our firm. And so she's at the level she's at now. And I think both of you guys have done that. And I think that's the way, you built great organizations is you get the right people on the bus and they learn how to get up to the front of the bus and drive the bus eventually.
Well,
Is
you
there
probably
anything looking back, 25 years ago in U.S. law and almost 30 years now, starting Carr Allison, that you said, if I would have told myself this 25, 30 years ago, I wouldn't have believed things have changed or, there's been a success or whatever it is that, again, your younger self would say, no, there's no way that happened.
Yeah, I think probably more so in our firm than in U.S. law. We knew U.S. law was going to grow to a national organization. That was its goal. At the firm, when we started with 8 people, 4 partners, 4 associates, Mike, we just really wanted to serve the clients, do good work here in Alabama is where we were founded. And, what would happen after that? Not having any idea that 30 years later now, our anniversary will be in 2027 next year, that we'd have almost 200 lawyers, 13 offices in 5 different states. That is mind blowing. I would have bet you any amount of money in 1997 that we would have never, got to that level. But it's just been because the clients have been so supportive and the clients have asked us to grow into different geographic areas, maybe even different practice areas. So we never did the field of dreams, build it and they will come. We just grew in response to good client service and good clients. So that was no secret in that sauce right there.
So is your biggest challenge at the firm keeping Pam in line?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, we spend about 90% of our time trying to keep the Dothan office in check. They're kind of cowboys down there in the wiregrass.
Yeah, Roger says the same thing about US law. It's kind of like when Thomas Logan, our managing partner, answers the phone, he's like, okay, what now? It's always something, always something. What do you think is on the horizon for US law over the next 25, Tom?
I think you're going to see an expansion in the practice areas. We have lived and grown traditionally off of transportation and either retail or premises industries. And that's been a big part of US law for a long time. But now we're starting to see professional liability, products liability, groups we've had before, employment grow. And I think you're going to continue to see those groups grow and become stronger. I think you're going to see probably development into commercial litigation. We didn't do a ton of that before. That's really been a new focus. So as the world of law changes, I think you'll see US law change right along with it, if not be out in front of it.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you how the holidays went with all those grandbabies.
Boy, you can't beat that. I'm tired as I could be right now. Mike and I were talking about before you jumped on the call that holidays are fun, but had a lot of fun with a 2, 4, and a 7-month old, but wouldn't trade it for the world. But I'm dog tired now, trying to get back to work.
Yeah,
And you didn't spoil them rotten, did you?
100%.
Good for you. Good for you.
And
that's
you guys could appreciate this being just a little bit younger. That I had all my kids, have a son and a daughter, all their families in down at our little beach place, and the name of the place is a resort. But as they say now, once Dad is there, it's an all-inclusive resort.
100%.
So I found my Amex card coming out quite frequently throughout the week we were off.
I can imagine. One of the best lines I've heard about the special relationship between grandparents and grandchildren is that they both have a common enemy in the parents. That they're both there just to make the parents of the grandkids, they just want to make them miserable. So I think that's probably why you guys get along so well.
Uh, that's right. Whatever the parents say they can't do, they get to do at my house.
That's
Your
right.
house, your rules. I love it.
Yeah.
Do you and Denise have any fun trips on the horizon, Tom?
We're going to parlay them through some U.S. law trips for sure. We're going to Fort Lauderdale for a conference in March, and then she's coming out to Arizona for the member meetings. And so it's funny. Just like Mike, the lawyers, I've developed friendships around U.S. law. My wife and all the wives that have been participating in U.S. law now are very good friends. They text each other all the time. So we have the member meeting in April in Arizona, lawyers only, no clients, really not spouses. They all decide they're going. They're just going to hang out by themselves, do their own thing, and they'll fly out there and fly home with us, and we probably won't see them any other time. And they're super happy about that.
Right. And I'm sure there's no fancy dinners or shopping or anything else that, taxes the Amex card again.
I was about to say,
Exactly.
I think your Amex card will get good use out in Arizona as well.
I think they told me I'm #1 customer this year.
That's great.
What's the favorite destination you've been to for a U.S. Law conference?
You know, the Broadmoor is probably one of our best go-to day in and day out. We were just there, and we've been there 3 times, as I recall, over the years. That resort, you can't beat it. Inside the U.S., that's been number one.
Yeah,
What's your favorite?
that's the first time I'd ever been there. And I think that is number one on my list as well.
Wow.
What about you, Pam?
I really like the Fairmont in Quebec. Um, it's lovely. Uh, so I really enjoyed that. But I also went that time I went as Tom Oliver, my first time to the Fairmont in Quebec City. Tom couldn't go. I was pretty newly postpartum, and Tom was an immediate past chair, I think, or close to. Anyway, I referred to it as a princess suite. I had like a tower and all sorts of things. So, it's set up pretty nicely for me. That little trip did.
She was used to it.
Yeah, you seem to always squirrel your way into experiences like that, Pam, that there's, nothing too fancy for you.
Well,
It goes one way or the other. Like I either get a room with a tower or I end up with literally a brick wall on the other side of my window. So, you know, I have to take the wins where I can get them.
Tom, has Pam tried to get you to play mahjong yet?
I couldn't even spell it, Mike, much less play it. So, no, that would not be a good thing for me.
Don't do it. She'll yell at you. She tried to teach me once, and I mean, I've never been yelled at like that in my life. Now I know why everybody's so afraid of her on the other side. All those plaintiff counsel running from her.
He's lying about learning from me, but he did say he would learn if I wouldn't yell.
That's true. That's
And I've
true.
agreed. I
Okay,
only
so
yell at
so the,
Allison.
so the takeaway from that, Mike, is you're not going to learn.
Exactly. 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 Yes, you know her too
100%.
well. So what's
Um,
on the horizon for you in 2026, Tom? You got any big New Year's resolutions, goals, plans?
Just to keep this ship called Carr Allison headed in the right direction, not run aground anywhere along the way. So it's pretty simple, but it's a big ship to handle right now. So we'll keep her afloat. That'll be the goal.
Yeah, you've got a lot of great personalities at Carr Allison, but a lot of personalities that need a lot of attention, just like Pam.
I don't know who you're talking about, Tommy.
What about you, Pam? Do you have any big 2026 resolutions, plans?
No, I too am going to try to stay afloat. This year is my 40th year. So I am taking a trip. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to stay very positive about this being my 40th year. So for now, we're good, all good. Let's do a wellness check late February, early March. Um,
I'll tell you, the decade I have enjoyed the most in my life has been my 40s.
well,
I
I tell
think
you what,
that's
my
fair.
30s
That
weren't great. So, like,
40s were definitely good for me. I tell you, we started USLAW in my 40s, and so it's been a great ride. So it's fun. Not so.
I think seeing you, Tom, nobody's going to believe that you're out of your 40s. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you
right. Yeah,
probably you started
exactly.
US Law in your 20s. You're in your
Yeah.
40s too.
what about you, Mike? Anything big in 2026 coming up?
No, I mean, nothing big. My goal for 2026 is to not sweat the small stuff. That rather than letting the little annoyances, dwell on them and get angry about them or whatever the case is, just let it go. Let it go. Focus on the big important things. But, it's January 7th, and I am already failed at it, but I'm going to keep trying.
Well, you can always channel my granddaughter's favorite movie, Frozen, where they sing "Let It Go."
There you go. I'm gonna put that as a mantra as well. Well,
Just
Tom, any kind of last words of parting wisdom for whether it's the younger U.S. law folks or clients or anybody else about kind of takeaways from your experience and your tenure in U.S. law?
I think it's control what you can control, kind of to your point of don't sweat the small stuff that's really out of your hands and you can't control. So you do that, you can focus on the positive and keep moving forward. You'll be well served throughout any kind of career or association you're in.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for U.S. Law over the 25 years you've been involved, and you've been a big help to me personally and to Dysart Taylor and to anybody who's listening. If you ever run into Tom at a conference or at an event, or hell, you're in Alabama for whatever reason, look up Tom. He's very generous with his time, and will, always drop what he's doing and take the time to talk with you, and, remembers your name and always remembers something about you. So, thank you for everything that you've done, Tom, and it's been great talking with you today.
Well, Mike, thank y'all for having me. Always great to see Pam and spend a little bit of time with her.
Good to see you,
Good. Well,
Tom.
thank
Thanks for
you.
being
Happy
here.
New
And
Year, everybody.
All right, Happy New Year, guys.
thanks everyone for being on and listening to another episode of US Law Live. We will see you next week with another exciting guest. Bye.